My kids are outside playing on the playground, so the house is kind of quiet. So I thought I'd quick do a video. I've been getting a lot of questions about my lights and my photo period and all that. So I thought I'd do a quick video answering questions about that. On this tank, it's a very shallow tank. It's a 20 long. So I didn't need very strong lighting. And I'm trying to do this on a budget because I have a large family and this is a hobby that I can't put a ton of money into. So I started out with this tank putting just one of the current Orbit Marine lights on it, programmable lights. And then after a year I saved up and put a second one on it. And it's been a really good light for this tank. It's not fancy, it's not terribly expensive, it's not terribly powerful a light, but I don't even need it at full strength on this shallow of a tank. So on this tank there are, like I said, two of the current Marine Orbit programmable lights. They are not pros. They're the ones that came out before the pros. So, and I only choose corals that I know will do good under this light. My photo period, it has a 15-minute ramp up and a 15-minute ramp down, but it's 10 hours. It's on a 10-hour photo period, and then it's got moonlights that go another 4 hours after my ramp down. And so it does get some moonlight time. I used to run this at 100 for the whites and 100 for the blues when I first started this tank. And it did well at that, but I didn't have the colors. I was always battling phosphates, trying to get my colors to pop, and got my phosphates under control, and still my colors were not what I wanted them to be on certain corals. And one day I was in Atlanta. I live close to Atlanta, and I went to Shacks. There's a guy in Atlanta that sells frags. He takes big corals, fancy corals, cuts them up into frags, and then grows them and sells them so that everybody can afford to buy some of the more expensive corals at a fair price. And his prices are great. When you walk in his store, everything's on blue. And he kept trying to tell me that his coral frags grow faster with more blue and less white, and that he pointed out so many of the corals that are deeper in the ocean, get more blue and less white. And he told me try it. After I had went there a couple different times, he really talked me into trying it. And I tried it on some of my other tanks. This is my main display, my baby. I didn't want to mess anything up. So I tried it on some of my other smaller tanks. And like the one in my bedroom, my little 10-gallon in my bedroom, I put it at 100 blue and 50 on the whites, and the colors really started to pop. And so and in that tank I have different lights, and it's really too strong for that tank. So I ended up, what I have that one set out in my bedroom because the tank is so shallow, and that it does the best is with my corals, do the best with that one programmed at 80% blue and 40% whites. So I messed with this tank, and I have it at 100% blue, and my whites I have at 60%. I slowly lowered the whites. I didn't just do it. And the colors really started to pop. I know a lot of people set their lighting according to what's pleasing to their eye. And that's what I did. I had it, 100% blue, 100% white. I figured it's a shallow tank. It needs all the light it can get. It was a good balance for making it pleasing to the eye. And now that I've got it, I'd rather have my corals look great and my tank look quite a bit more blue or darker than I prefer it. if the corals grow well and are happy. And so I have this tank with the blues at 100% and the whites at 60, and I've had it that way for probably a year now, and the colors just really pop. Everything is colored up to my satisfaction the way that I think it should be. And so the lighting on this tank the photo period is 10 hours using the current Orbit Marine LEDs, programmable lights, not the pros. I have a 15-minute ramp up, a 15-minute ramp down, and then I have my blues on for my moonlights on for 4 hours past that. And it works really well for this tank. I'm going to go and show you my bedroom tank now. Just hold on a second. On this tank, the lights just came on, so everything's waking up. But the colors, really pop. This has one of those Chinese Hypergo lights on it. And like I said, I have this one set at 80% blue and I think 40% white. Such a shallow tank, and that's a pretty powerful light. It was burning everything. And so I had to keep lowering it. And what I found is the balance I have now. And the colors are just, really, everything's waking up, so it's not real fluffy. But everything's looking really good. Now, I did have a question. Someone asked me about the Gongaporas. And I have a Gongapora there. I have one there. A little one there. Back in the very back there is purple petals with green centers. And how hard Gongaporas are to keep. And they really are. But if you get the lighting right, they don't like incredibly high light. That one's really pretty. I got that at Shaq's. With the long eyelashes, pink. And then that little green one there. And those two there. The red one is on the left and the green one is on the right on that same rock on the top. And that's really short Gongaporas. But I never had great luck with Gongaporas until I started lowering the light and moving them down, getting the flow right, and I use the Reef Energy, and I feed Coral Frenzy. So that answers someone else's question that they had. I do not spot feed my Gongaporas. I just sprinkle a little bit of the Coral Frenzy on the top of the water once a day, just a little bit. And I built it up, sprinkled a little bit and more until I got it to the desired amount. And I do that before the lights come on, while everything's got their tentacles out, like that that candy cane. See in the bottom there in the dark where the tentacles are out at night, that thing has got those tentacles all over it. Looks like a big fuzzy ball. So when the lights are out, most of my stuff has got their tentacles out. And so I feed right before the lights come on, the Coral Frenzy. And I feed everything else later, and I never spot feed. So, but anyways, that's what I wanted to chat about today. I had some questions about it. People were writing me. So, y'all have a good day and happy reefing.